Start. So how to identify different cluster? What are the 4 clusters in the ADC Part 1 exam? And what is the weightage that has been given in the different clusters? Can you see the weightage tab, guys? Dr. Haider, can you see the different weightage tab? Yes. So this is really very much important to know which particular question belongs to which cluster actually, and why that is important, because there are different percentage given for the different cluster. If you see the information gathering and the diagnosis and management planning is having a 30 percentage. So the maximum amount has been given to these 2 clusters. Clinical treatment and evaluation given 20 percentage, and the health promotion and professionalism combined together given 20 percentage. So you need to be very sound when you take the proper history of the patient. You do the investigation based on the provisional diagnosis you make. Because if your information gathering cluster is having a right answer, then only you are able to provide the good diagnosis and the management. But if your history and the investigation part is wrong, there are high chances you are going to give the wrong diagnosis, and that will lead you the wrong management and the treatment plan. So the first question normally they used to ask that belongs to the information gathering. They give you all the history and they will ask you the question. So what belongs to the information gathering? So when patient comes to you with the specific chief complaint, okay, you ask the patient the open-ended question. If you go through the TG, you are not going to jump directly to the close-ended question. If patient comes with the pain, you are going to ask, can you describe the pain? You are not going to ask them whether you are having a pain on biting or you are going to have pain on cold. You are going to ask the patient the open-ended question, that is, can you describe the pain? Once you come to know that patient is having very severe pain that lasts nearby long, then you can ask the close-ended question. Do you require any medication for that? Do you have pain on biting? Just to differentiate whether it's only irreversible pulpitis or there is also periapical abscess is also there, right? So in the information gathering cluster, chief complaint history, medical and dental history is very important. Why the medical history is important? Because if patient is having a patient is on the blood thinner, you need to know whether it's antiplatelet drug, anticoagulant drug, which drug it is. So if they are going to give you any question with the whole history given and describing patient is on the blood thinners, whether it's atovastatin or clopidogrel, and you are going to extract the tooth. Patient is also having a past history of the bleeding, and they are going to ask you the SBQ, which history is most important in this case. Then medical history is very important. Based on the medical condition, you are going to describe, or you are going to manage your patient or managing the protocol of the treatment. Social history is also important. If patient is on a smoking since 20 years and patient is not willing to quit the smoking, okay, that particular keyword is going to lead you to the health promotion and professionalism. What is the barrier that prevents patient to quit the smoking? Patient willingness is there or not? If there is a high carriage risk patient, how frequently you are going to visit how frequently you are going to ask patient to visit the clinic. Then 6 monthly, patient belongs to the high carriage risk, your evaluation criteria or follow-up visit going to be shorter in that case. So diet history is important, smoking history is important. So information gathering belongs to the different history and the investigation part. If they're going to give you the case, like there is a patient is having a severe pain, there is irreversible pulpitis, which test you are going to do? You are going to do the cold test, right? If a patient is having a pain on biting, okay, patient is having a large feeling, you are suspecting the crack, which test you are going to do? if they are going to give you the scenario in which patient was having a swelling, previously the patient was having a severe pain, the infection has started and spread to the different space infection, there is a buccal space infection, patient is having a severe swelling, and patient is having a pain on biting, both the things, right? Then which test you are going to do the first? We are not going to directly jump to the cold test. In the swelling case, first we are going to do the percussion with, to know whether it's a one tooth or two tooth, which particular tooth is involved. Okay, but if they ask you which test will lead you to the treatment plan or which test is give you the better or confirmatory idea about which tooth is involved, right? Then it will be the cold test. So different keywords will change the whole answer in the investigation part itself. Which test you will do first, which is the confirmatory test. A small word will change the answer. Okay. Then there is a trauma and pedo patient. Okay, if there is a trauma case or the pedo patient, which X-ray you are going to do? The pedo patient cannot describe the pain in a clear manner. You are not going to do the cold test in the pedo patient. Anyhow, they can't describe which tooth it is. You need to go for the X-ray in the pedo patient. They will ask you which is the best X-ray for the implant. Then it's a CBCT. Okay, so try to remember which keyword they are using. Okay, so we will go through few SBQs, so that will give you the better idea. Okay, I need everyone to put in chat the answer of this particular question. Okay, there is a 40-year-old patient complaining of the discolored tooth. Okay, there was a trauma 15 years before and the lot of treatment has been done. So when you read the scenario, try to collect the keywords. What is the keyword over here? Treatment has been done. Many treatment has been done. Probability is very high. RCT has been done. When the trauma has happened 15 years before. The tooth can be non-vital at the time. Okay. So try to collect different keywords that is given in the particular scenario. Okay. So which test you will do in this particular scenario? Please type in the chat box which test you need to do in this particular scenario and why. I'm waiting. There is a timer going on. Dr. Stalin, that's why I'm telling. Try to collect the keyword, Dr. Hansa. Are we going to do the vitality test? What are the keywords given in the scenario? Can you see the tooth is discolored? Right? When the trauma was done 15 years before, chances are very high, it's non-vital. But what is the keyword? Lot of treatment has been done before. The tooth is non-vital. We can clearly see that part. What we need to see, a lot of treatment has been done before. We need to check in the X-ray the RCT has been done or not. So here we are not going to do the pulp sensibility test. A lot of treatment done before is the keyword, right? So we are going to do the periapical X-ray to check whether the RCT has been done before or not. Is it clear for everyone? Yes, periapical X-ray, Dr. Mavish. Yeah. So try to, when you read the question, try to mark the keywords they are giving. Okay, there is a second question from the same scenario. Okay. Okay, there is another scenario. There is 45-year-old patient having a post-stent core. Okay, you can see in the radiograph, there is a fistula and dislodged filling. There is radiolucency, you can see. What is the chief complaint of the patient is the dislodged crown. Okay. Now what test you are going to do in this case? What comes into the in your mind when you see the post-stent core has been given? There is a dislodged crown. What are the high chances when you give the post and core in the RCT treated tooth? Fracture chances are there, vertical root fracture, right? Can you see the J-shape radiolucency? Right? The chances are very high of the periapical abscess. Okay. For the vertical root fracture, we can see the isolated pocket or not. So what we will do to check the isolated pocket in the VRF cases? Yes, doctor, true. Very good. It's a periodontal probing. Yeah, you need to train your mind in this way. You need to think what exactly the given you, where exactly they are taking you. Okay. Now you have done the periodontal probing. You know it's a vertical root fracture. What is the next question is given? What would be valuable investigation to get the information to proceed with the treatment of the tooth 1-1? Now you want to do the treatment of this particular tooth. Which treatment, which particular investigation you will do? Is there any meaning of the vitality testing in this scenario? No. What idea you will get by the percussion for the treatment? Nothing. Removing the post and core and check for the miss canals in the central incisor. Maybe if upper molar, there are high chances you miss the canals. In the central incisor, upper central incisor. No, right? So exclude the other options. What you can see, there is abscess, periapical abscess. How you are going to check whether it's one tooth is involved or more than one tooth is involved? How you are going to check? Yes, GP tracing. Yes, Dr. Hansad. Yes, Dr. Haider. Very good. Right? So we are going to do the GP tracing. So C is the correct answer over here. So when you read the question, develop this art in your mind. Excluding the options, what are the keywords, how to connect the dots, everything. Right? So this kind of question that belongs to the information gathering and the investigation part that comes to the information gathering cluster. Now let's go to the diagnosis and the management plan. Okay. Anyone having any question regarding the information gathering cluster? It's clear for everyone? Okay. So what is there in the diagnosis and the management part? So based on the history, we come to the any conclusion. This is the particular diagnosis, right? In the previous scenario, you have read the whole scenario. Which diagnosis you have reached? It's a vertical root fracture. Based on the X-ray, based on the history given. What other diagnosis there? There is a periapical abscess is also there. Okay. So based on the diagnosis, you are going to manage the patient. So how you are going to manage the condition if there is a case of the high risk caries, how you are going to manage the condition. If there is case of the swelling, cellulitis and patient doesn't want to do any treatment, then you are not going to do the treatment. You are going to manage the patient. Are you getting me? There is a very thin difference between management and the treatment cluster. And that's why the management cluster is having a higher weightage than the treatment cluster. The antibiotics you are going to provide before the treatment, the painkillers you are going to provide before the treatment, that comes to the management part. How you are going to manage the patient before providing the treatment. Okay? And there's many candidates are lacking. They don't know where exactly whether it's belong to the management or treatment plan, and they are failing the cluster and they are thinking where they are missing. So this part, the antibiotic prophylaxis, the antibiotics you are going to give before the treatment in the cellulitis cases, patient is not, and there is a painkiller you are going to give if patient is having a NSAIDs, right? Non-steroidal, like a patient is having a asthma, taking a steroid pump, and they are giving you different painkiller combination. Which painkiller you are going to give for the patient pain, right? If patient is having asthma and patient is taking the steroids, you can't give NSAIDs. You can't combine steroids and the NSAIDs, right? So that comes to the management part. In the trauma cases, they will give you the clinical picture and they will give you the history you need to diagnose, whether it's lateral luxation, subluxation, concussion. Okay, in the oral patho also, they will give you the good OPG. They will give you the good history and you need to diagnose the case. That comes into the diagnosis part with different stages of the perio, grading of the perio, kinetic classification in the prostho, in the endo, whether it's periapical abscess or whether it's a periodontal abscess, that all comes to the diagnosis part. Management of the medically compromised patient. Patient is on the bisphosphonate, IV bisphosphonate. There is a mobile tooth. There is abscess. Are you going to touch that patient? So all these things comes to the diagnosis and the management part. Management of the dry mouth. There is a burning mouth syndrome, bruxism. You are not going to provide the treatment. You are going to manage this patient. Okay. So the diagnosis come. That's very clear in everyone's mind. You have to diagnose the condition based on the history, investigation, clinical picture, X-ray given, and the management part that comes into the diagnosis and the management cluster. We are going to go through the few examples, so that will give you the better idea. Okay. I need everyone to answer this question because these are the very tricky questions. They directly ask this question from the OSCE cluster from different OSCE. There is orange set, there is a blue set. From that, this SBQ has been extracted and has been asked in the exam in the part 1 actually. So there is a 67 years old male complain of the mobile tooth with the abscess. Okay. What are the medical condition patient is having a MI, hypothyroidism, history of MI, hypothyroidism. Okay. There is osteoporosis. Patient is taking warfarin, thyroxine, calcium, and the denosumab. When the denosumab IV injection has been taken only 2 days before, what are the high chances when patient is taking denosumab? What are the high chances? Osteonecrosis of the jaw, medicine-related osteonecrosis of the jaw, bronch is having a high chances. So are you going to touch that patient? Is there a very high chance the patient is already having a bronch when the tooth is mobile with the abscess? So what treatment you are going to provide this patient with so many medical condition? What should be the answer, guys? Yes, we are not going to touch this patient. Even though TG says you need to provide the active dental treatment in the patient when in the emergency, but in some cases, you do not need to touch the patient. You need to refer to the specialist. Okay. Now a patient asks antibiotics for her cellulitis. There is another scenario. Okay. Patient comes with the cellulitis. Okay. And patient asks antibiotics. Patient is having no time for the treatment and was insisting for antibiotics. So what you will do? There is active infection. You anyhow need to give the antibiotics. Option A is right, probably. What is the option 2 is saying? Explain the severity of the condition, refer the specialist and prescribe the antibiotics. Which is the more complete answer between 1 and 2? 2 is the more complete answer, right? Refuse to give antibiotics? No, you need to give. There is a cellulitis. There is active infection. If you are not going to provide the treatment, what TG is saying? You need to give the antibiotics when there is a active infection inside the mouth, right? So sometimes in the ADC, you feel there are more than one answers are right. At that time, you need to see which is the more complete answer and which is the best out of those two options, right? This is the another scenario, guys. What is the diagnosis? What is the history given? 38-year-old male patient, right? What is the keyword over here? Asymptomatic. Keyword is the military. Patient is a military, working in the military. What are the high chances in this kind of scenario? I'm waiting for your answer, guys. You know the keywords in this scenario. Are they saying it's an impacted tooth? No. Why there is an antigenesis? No. There is no blood history, oozing blood. Yes, it's a traumatic cyst, right? Now everyone is knowing how to catch the keywords. There are two more options. Patient is having a IV bisphosphonate therapy. There is a OPG given that indicates there is a mild bone loss and multiple root canal treated teeth without the crowns. And there are multiple small dental caries there. Okay. So when you are going to start the bisphosphonate therapy, what is your first priority? Oral hygiene measure is first priority, or restoring the RCT treated tooth, or crown restoration is the first priority. What is the high chances when you start the bisphosphonate therapy? Bronze, high chances of the bronze. So what you need to do? You need to extract the non-restorable tooth, right? So this comes into the management part. How you gonna manage the extracting the non-restorable, right, Dr. Sam? Okay. This comes into the management part. What is your priority? Okay. Although you done the examination, you find the tooth is non-restorable. And what is the best time to extract this tooth? You are going to manage this patient. You haven't started the treatment, extracting the teeth. What is the best time? That comes into the management part. If you are placing the implant, patient is having a smoking habit. What is the smoking cessation protocol? Right? 2 weeks before, 8 weeks after, there are different options will be given. Okay? So that comes into this cluster. Immediately, when you are going to extract this tooth, immediately, right? Non-restorable. Because after 1 week, they are going to start therapy. So once it will started, you need to wait in between for, if they are saying already the therapy has been started, then you have to wait, like you have to give it before 2 weeks before you need to extract it. But it's not started yet. So you are going to extract immediately. Okay. Now there is a treatment planning and evaluation. Okay. So what includes in the treatment planning and evaluation criteria? Providing treatment options for the different clinical scenarios. There is a case of the irreversible pulpitis, there is a case of the periapical abscess, what treatment you are going to provide. Okay. There is a case of in the endo, they ask you the different questions, what direct or indirect restoration you provide based on the extent of the caries. If there is severe caries, right, there is a big cavity, you need to provide the inlay. But one of the cusp is undermined. Inlay is contraindicated in that case. Undermined, if there is a cusp is undermined, you need to give the onlay. Or maybe one or two cusps are broken, you need to give the onlay. If more than 1/3 or 1/2 tooth is destructed, then you have to give the crown. So there are different questions that has been asked. Depends on the different scenario in the endo. Okay, which restoration you will choose. In the prosto also, they will ask you what is the immediate or interim treatment option you give. Depends on the different Kennedy classification, or depend on the medical condition of the patient or the financial constraint of the patient. Okay. In the perio also depends on the different stages, what treatment you provide. Which flap surgery you do or which bone graft you use. So that comes into different treatment planning cluster, what treatment you are going to provide. In the trauma cases, if there is a lateral luxation, how long you are going to splint that tooth, how frequently you are going to, or what is your evaluation criteria in the lateral luxation or in the avulsion case. So there is a beautiful chart given. You need to follow that chart for the treatment and evaluation criteria. We will go for the question for this particular case. I hope I am not too fast. Okay. There is a 20-year-old patient comes with the white stain on upper anterior incisors. Okay. So here you need to be very good on the diagnosis. White spot in the cervical area, you can see it's in little bit in the middle part. Okay. She lost her father. Okay. The dental surgeon previously thought it's a molar incisor hypomineralization spots, but he later come to conclusion that's not MIH. So this is not a MIH case, molar incisor hypoplasia. So based on the information given, based on the clinical picture given, first the diagnosis should be there in your mind. What are the keywords over here? The white spot in the cervical area visible when it's both wet and dry. Okay. There are high chances the patient has gone for the ortho treatment. But that's the initial caries part. Okay. So how will you treat the most conservatively? So out of this option, which option you think is the most conservative? Which option is the most conservative, guys? Yes, Dr. Stalin. Bleaching is the most conservative. You are going to do what C option A is saying microabrasion. Microabrasion, we are going to remove some micro amount of the tooth structure, enamel structure. So that's not a conservative part. The B is saying intraoral sandblasting with unfilled resin infiltration and resin composite. Again, some initial part is removed. The bleaching, here there is no, and the E is the covering the complete buccal surface with the resin composite. Are you going to do the preparation for the resin by removing all the tooth, or bleaching is more conservative? CPP-ACP will provide the minerals to the tooth structure. Is it going to be more conservative? The bleaching is going to be more conservative, right? You are not going to do the preparation. Yes. Yes, Dr. Hansa. C is the correct answer. Okay. There is another treatment planning and evaluation case. Which class you will use when there is a edentulous space? Patient concern is about the aesthetic sensitivity. So depends on the which Kennedy classification, which is the most suitable class, partially dentular space. When the concern is aesthetic, for the aesthetic concern, we are going to go for the infrabulge, right? And which is the more flexible class? Rottweiler class. Okay. How to increase the working time of the alginate? You are doing the treatment. You are going to decrease the temperature. So these are the basic questions that will give you the idea about the treatment planning and the evaluation. Okay, now let's go to the main cluster, that is a professionalism and the health promotion. It's good that everyone is active. Okay, so what includes? This cluster is very important because no one has been to we are coming from different overseas countries. We haven't been to maybe some has worked as a TA, but how to work and what are the different articles says, that's a totally different part. Okay, what are the different articles for the mouth guard or the fluoride? There is a body dysmorphic disorder. Okay, the patient concern regarding the body dysmorphic disorder, are you going to touch that patient or not? Okay, pregnancy related question, a traumatic restorative treatment related question. There is a aboriginal patient, there is a language barrier, right? So if there is a language barrier and patient is having a 14 years old son, patient is in a severe emergency like a pain, you are going to do the treatment, right? If the patient is having a habit of the smoking, what are the different criteria for the smoking cessation? Okay, what are the different stages of the smoking? How you manage the smoking part? Okay, that all comes into the health promotion and professionalism cluster. Okay, can you see the different files in the course? What exactly is there we provide in the professionalism and health promotion cluster? Okay, there are nearby 80 articles that is given for the health promotion and professionalism. Everyone can see the articles or not? Because this is very important. That will take you to the particular part. Can everyone see the articles? Okay. So what are the comes in the health promotion? Different COVID levels, abuse and violence comes, different code of ethics. Okay. Diet and nutrition, what you provide in the remote area, amalgam waste management, code of conduct, mercury management, child abuse, sweetener, radiation protection, mouthguard policies, exposure management in the pregnancy patient, different restriction in the COVID, diabetes and periodontitis. Okay, there are nearby 80 articles. You can see there are different 80 articles that is given for the health promotion cluster. And what we are going to go for now? I think my computer is stuck. I can't go back. Okay, we are going to go through the different question files, okay, for this particular cluster. So what kind of question comes into the health promotion and oral? So we have a separate file or the taste for the health promotion and the professionalism. And we also have the super files that is based on this particular cluster. Okay, you do not need to be worried about what are the question, how you need to go for this test. Okay. Maybe we are going to add this test for everyone. Okay. The rugby patient. Patient is takes. Okay. Mouth guard patient. What are the healthy options for the like a sport person out of the different options given? There is a child patient, fluoride application, right? Then there is a patient with the dementia, Alzheimer disease. How you going to the